right, welcome everyone to our 25th session. We have done 25 games. This story has gone on for longer than most television series right now. So here we go. Last week a lot happened, and finally, shit was resolved. The arena is no longer in play. Oh, Estrella chose life, and and working with Mud, the two of you successfully brought the fight to an end. Listening to Mud and kind of going along with her plan and seeing what is it that she has in mind. Meanwhile, Nim literally destroyed Arden Fett.
And Donk.
Just in embarrassing her, using Thok's essence to rip through Beskar armor in a move that she blanked out for, but the crowd saw and just loved as she flash stepped through Arden's body. But of course, hearing the ominous warning from her old friend Pain that next time, no matter what, it would be her. Yasin and Kieran successfully navigated the barroom blitz, with Yasin literally impressing Lieutenant Gregarin so much that the fight ended as any good bar fight does, with two guys trying to drink each other under the table, talking about how awesome they are. And so finding yet another kindred spirit, Yasin has befriended Garen Gregarin, the Valinar elf who officially, on behalf of his people, or at least until the next Valinar you find who gets pissed off, says that you can wield that sword. That is like, it is yours, it is honor bound. But more importantly, you made a friend in him to help investigate and infiltrate the Black Sun base that is not far from the center of town. He's agreed to help you to break into it because, being from Faerun, he wants to go home. And the two of you have, or rather more like Yasin, has kind of agreed to help him get home if he can help him get to Roka. On the other side of the bar, Kieran was literally having aggressive negotiations with Cad Bane, holding him at gunpoint and pumping him for all the information that he could, which admittedly wasn't much, but he did find out that the bounty on him was dropped mainly because Cad Bane was tired of hunting a ghost, and decided that there were better ways to spend his time. However, getting shot in the side, Cad Bane, if he survives these wounds, might want a little revenge. And known only to Kieran at this point, who just barely sees this woman out of the corner of his eye, trailing them on the rooftops, is Keladri, a tiefling warrior who almost seamlessly blends in with the shadows. She's hunting Kieran, but why, we're not sure. And so that's where we're going to start tonight's adventure, with Keladri as she navigates the rooftops. Keladri, I would like you to roll athletics for me.
And so 14 plus.
Well, let's see here.
Okay, I have 14 plus 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so 19.
19, very nice. Keladri, the rooftops are your home. They are as familiar to you as your weapon Ash is. You know every curve, every pipe, every broken piece of tile and brick, and you navigate the rooftops with a skill that not many possess. Easily, you flip from one building to another. You slide down grates. You hide behind stacks of pipes that just steam into the sky. And I'd like Kieran to make a perception roll, and for Keladri to make a stealth roll. We'll see if Kieran can keep an eye on you as you're out there. Keladri, roll with advantage because your athletics was so high.
Well, I rolled a 1, so 6.
Okay, 6. And Kieran, your perception?
11.
Okay, it's tight. It is tight. Kieran, from your vantage point, there are times where you lose Keladri, and then you pick her up as she rounds a corner, and then you lose her again behind smoke or a neon that kind of blinds you for a second. And so you are tracking her, but not as well as you would like. You're feeling a bit uncomfortable.
Just know I'm being followed.
Yep.
I'm gonna stick to the walls a little bit, like kind of like, come on, Yasin, my slightly drunken friend, and like kind of get closer to the wall a little bit, just a little bit, to where I'm at least covered slightly from rooftops. Not necessarily knowing which direction, so I could be going against the wrong rooftop, but trying.
The Black Sun Lieutenant Gavin Gregarin, he notices you're kind of sticking closer to the walls, and doesn't think too much of it. He kind of looks at you and goes, "Well, a man with your bounty, I'm not really surprised that you'd be sticking to the walls like that."
We may have a tail. I'm just being cautious, and you guys might want to as well.
Hey, a tail. He looks up into the onto the rooftops. Keladri, one more time, roll stealth.
17.
17. At this point, Kieran, both you and Gregarin watch the rooftops. You've pointed to where she was last, and Gregarin swears that he could just make out her cloak as it just behind a neon sign. But in that moment, both of you lose her, and Gregarin is visibly shook. I know we've got a tail. Sure is night. She's chasing us, but oh, fuck me. Do you know who's hunting us, laddie?
No.
Keladri. Oh, God, the devil of the night. Hey, she's something else. Something to be feared. Ain't many of us who like it when she's on our tail. Best we pick up the pace, boys, if we know what's good for us. If you lost sight of her, the next time you see her, well, it'll be at your funeral. So, come on, follow me. Stay close. Let's go. And Gregarin is scared. Like, he's trying to show the bravado. He's trying to be, the tough elf. But if you look at him, he's shaking, and his eyes are wide with fear. And just saying Keladri's name, like, chokes him up. Like, he's feeling that. Keladri, you fall into the shadows. You are literally one with the night right now. What's going through your mind? What is she thinking right now?
Well, I'm very interested in getting Kieran by himself. So I don't know, because Kieran's really interested in that bounty on him. Right now I'm just trying to gain information and see where they're headed, or if I can maybe separate them. Right?
Keladri, I'd like you to roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Thought I was the only ghost in this episode.
Right.
Whoa.
Is that right? This is
19 plus
I think it's a 0
wisdom
wisdom.
saving throw. Yeah, plus 0. Yeah, so 19.
All right, straight 19. Not a bad roll. As you are following Kieran now at a very comfortable pace, your mind starts to drift, as often happens when you are in the zone. You're hunting so casually now that your mind can multitask and can focus on more than one thing, and it drifts to a voice that's just in the back of your head. Most of the time, you can tune it out. As long as you keep busy, as long as you focus on the task, and the voice doesn't really bother you. But as your mind starts to split, it becomes stronger just for a moment. And you hear this old, wizened female whisper your name. Caladri. Caladri. Why do you keep running, Caladri? How do you react to this voice?
Well, I'm gonna look around and see if I can observe anything around me.
Roll perception.
Three.
3. Okay, so you don't see anything, but you can't shake the feeling that something's watching you. And it feels like it's all around you. And for a moment, you trip up. Your anxiety takes over, your heart beats faster, and the voice sounds like it's coming right over your shoulder. Daughter, I'm here. Stop running, child. You can't run. And as you regain your footing and your focus, the voice falls back to the distance, to just a soft whisper of Caladri. And you resume the hunt. But you're a little shaken and very disturbed. As our boys pull up behind Gagarin, he starts to slow his jog, and you notice him look around. Boys, can you see anything?
Did we notice anything whenever she was like having her moment of stumble?
I want you both to roll a perception check.
Because we've been like staring at it. So, 13.
All right, and Yasin?
That's a nat 20.
Okay. Yasin's on fire. Yasin, what you hear is almost a breath catch, like a, and the sound of someone tripping on the roof, not directly above where Gagarin has stopped, but a little further past it. And you hear this almost like metal on concrete kind of a sound where, you know, a little stumble, clink, 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 and then silence. That's the only thing that you notice.
Am I able to like reach down and pick up a pebble and like like where I hear the sound from?
Sure, absolutely. Caladri, give me an athletics check.
Athletics check.
15.
So here's what happens. Yasin, you just take this kind of loose piece of concrete that's on the ground and just casually chuck it in the exact place where you think you hear this sound. And you kind of hear it bounce off the walls, and again, using your swashbuckler senses, you're trying to triangulate it. Like, this is, you know, if I'm in a cave, if I'm spelunking, there's a way that that sound doesn't travel exactly where you hear it from. It refracts, it moves, it echoes. And so you kind of toss right where you think the sound is coming from. And in that moment, as you listen, you hear nothing. There's no sound of the rock hitting. There's no umph. There's no body impact. Because as the rock sails overhead, and as Keladri catches herself and resumes her hunt, she grabs the rock just as it comes for her forehead, and then holds onto it tightly and continues to run.
Smooth.
Hey, laddies, I don't think we can stay out here much longer. So look, come on. This is it's my place. We can hang here for a little while. Maybe see if we can lose Keladri's trail. Dear Lord, I hope we can. Come on. And he just kind of hits a couple of keypads on this grimy looking door in this back alley area that you both have been kind of running through. And you hear this shh as the door opens. And he just kind of waves the two of you to come inside.
As we're running in, can I just get a glance of like what the alleyway looks like environmentally, like for if this situation doesn't really work, what's our escape route?
Sure. There are two significant things that you would notice in this alley that might be of use to you. One is that there is a kind of a trash compactor, maybe 10 feet or so opposite of Gregarin's door. In fact, you see this alien-looking woman. She's got tentacles that hang from her mouth and kind of a bulbous head and large eyes, and you hear it kind of, and she sort of dumps her trash down into it, and you see this kind of machine just start to rotate, and kind of crunches up the trash. So it looks like, a normal dumpster, but inside you can see these large pistons that work to crunch the trash and compact it down. Directly above Gregarin's door, you notice an emergency ladder, something that would be triggered from an upper window where you kind of unlock the latch and it would swing down a little bit further. And in the event that there's a fire or some kind of catastrophe or a quick escape needed, the window right above the door leads to that ladder.
I'll get it.
Awesome.
Then dart.
The two of you walk in. As the door shuts behind you, you are immediately greeted with the wonderful aroma of bachelorhood. Just this.
Oh, God.
There are. It's
No.
a small place. It's a studio-sized apartment, if you will. There are stairs in the back that would lead to like an upper loft area. So maybe a little better than a studio, but size-wise, this is a small, compact little space. As you walk in, there's a kitchen to your left, which by kitchen I mean there is a burner with one pot on it and a dish, or rather a sink, filled with dishes and interesting little buzzing creatures that are pretty much flies, but make it alien. And so you've got that there. You can still hear the rain outside through the one window that is literally next to the door, and it's kind of catching some of the reflected neons from outside and above rooftops. The smell is not only coming from the dishes in the sink, but there's a decent amount of clothing on the one couch that he has. Just shirts, pants, socks, underwears with kind of interesting stains on them. He's not shy about it, but it's he's like, hi, welcome to my place. My house is your house. Feel free to make yourself at home. Just move anything about that you like. Don't worry about it. I don't mind. It's got a lived-in sort of feel to it. Kind of like that corn chip smell. It's nice and homey. Um,
Are there? I immediately look for any windows, and if there are windows, I'll like close the blinds or something, or if there is a blind.
Yeah, no, you can, and there is. So there's a window immediately to the left of the door.
Single mail trash out of the way so that I can close the blinds.
Yeah. And you do, and Gregorian's like, "Aye, good thinking, nice." There's one upstairs. If you guys want to grab something from the refrigerator over there, and he like points next to the sink, and it didn't look like a fridge to you automatically. It looks like just a nasty old conduit box, but apparently it's his fridge.
Oh.
And he's like, "Yeah, if you want to grab anything there, drink. I think there's some kind of like a meat thing in there. I don't know. I don't cook much, but whatever you want, you can have it. I'm gonna head upstairs. There's a couple of things up there that might help us out. Also, one more window, which I'll go ahead and take care of that. So just don't worry about it. Enjoy. Have fun, guys." And he just kind of casually plods upstairs. What would the two of you like to do?
Just look at Yasin like.
Yasin's just washing dishes.
Hey, I have 1 day's rations in my bag. I'm just gonna like take out half of the like ingredients that are inside of that, wrap it nicely, and just stick it in the fridge for the poor man.
Aw, that's so sweet.
You guys did so nice cleaning and cooking.
Yasin, I want you to roll. Gosh, I'm not sure even how to categorize this. I don't know. Roll athletics. This dishes can be an athletic feat. Let's do that. I want to see how many dishes you wash, how quickly.
Or if you break them in the process.
Ooh, 16.
Okay, nice. Kieran can instantly tell that you have spent time in kitchens before. Like perhaps when you were younger, you used to work in the galleys of different ships as you learned the trade and worked your way up to being a captain. So a dirty dish and a shitty kitchen is nothing to you. And you just roll up your sleeves, and with a speed that would dazzle any pirate, you're just wash, swab, move, clean, dry, move, swab, clean, dry, move, and just literally in the course of time that it takes Kieran to separate his rations, put some in this fridge contraption, you've gone through almost all of the dishes to a point where you feel satisfied. You kind of piled them on top of the fridge because it's a short little thing. You just kind of pile them up there for him, and you've done your good deed for the day, both of you.
Grim are going to be so fucking pissed when we all reunite and we're like covered in blood, almost died. We fought to the death. What did you guys do? And Yasin goes, dishes.
And bought a cat.
I was about to say, I'm gonna also, while I'm working on the rations there, I'm gonna feed my cat.
Yes.
Who's hiding in my cloak right here.
Mm-hmm. And you immediately kind of hear her, and she kind of rubs the back of your neck a little bit and kind of peeks out over your shoulder and just kind of sits with her butt in the hood of your cloak and her front paws on your shoulder, kind of looking out. And you see her take a couple sniffs, and then she's like, and kind of just hides back a little bit into your hood a little bit more.
Like scratch her head a little bit, and then I'm gonna walk over to the window and just kind of like tip the curtain just a hair, just to see out and see if I can see anything on the skyline.
Right now, the skyline is pretty clear. You do notice a couple of speeder bikes and transports that kind of just kind of move every now and then overhead, but it's a pretty clear night for traffic. Not a whole lot is happening. I would say that doesn't actually make you feel good about things. It makes you feel even more nervous.
Yeah, I'm gonna close it back and let me see here. How many items? Can help me out in the situation. No. All right. I'm just gonna like find one of the corners and stick towards the walls, and I'm actually going to, while we're taking the time, I'm going to start working on one of my pull out some ingredients, some little like gem pieces, and I'm gonna start trying to fashion one of those like speaking stones.
Okay. Roll like roll crafting. Why don't we have a crafting roll? Roll. Let's do a couple of rolls. I want you to roll history and roll sleight of hand to see how easily you can recreate something from having just kind of a reverse engineer, if you will.
17 and a 18.
Nice. Well done. I would imagine that. Yes, Yasin.
Oh well, I'm well. After you finish saying what happens with Kieran, I'm just gonna say Yasin looking at Kieran working with his stonework is gonna make Yasin remember that Grim tried to call us. And so I'm gonna pull out my speaking stone and try to contact Grim.
Perfect. So Kieran, you're able to fashion one of these stones pretty quickly. It takes you maybe 5-10 minutes at most, working not just from memory, the feel of the stone when you had yours, but also as you watch Yasin pull his out, you grab it for a hot second and kind of twist it, turn, look at it, grab your eyepiece, give it back to him, and immediately like, that was it, aha! And within moments, you have a fully functioning stone of far speech. Yours is a bit unique, having been crafted not just of stone but also of gems. It looks prettier. Like I'm going to say, it just looks prettier right now. But one of the gems that you used also carries with it a special ability.
Ooh.
Which we're going to take my D100 and roll for. I have a few different ideas, so depending on where this number comes out is what it's going to do. This is going to be fun. Melissa, is my first time rolling the middle D100. Here we go. What she got me for Christmas. And that looks like an 85, which is actually a good roll based on the numbers in my head. Kieran, you notice that as you start to click and position these gems, that this one purple gem that you used has an affinity with the rips that are in space. And being a part of a contraption that is for communicating, you sense that it probably can do more than just communicate within the same realm. You haven't proved it, you haven't tried it, but you just got this gut feeling that maybe I can phone something somewhere else.
E.T. phone
E.T. phone home. Another galaxy. As Yasin gets his stone back and makes a collect call to Grim, does Grim accept the charges?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. You could have said no. As the two of you make a connection, I want to cut to Keldry for a moment before we decide what you two are saying to each other. Keldry, you successfully dodged both Yasin and Kieran's perception as they tried to lock on to where you were. You actually moved 2 buildings down just to throw off the scent, if you will. What do you do?
Is there a second story in the building that they're in?
Yes, there is.
Would it be possible for me to sneak in through an upper story window?
You could. So you have two options as you approach this building. As I was describing to Dawson, you instantly see the second story window that's above the door that they kind of went into, and you see the fire escape ladder that's there. You also see another window a few feet down. You don't know if this window is connected to the same apartment or if it's somebody else's room entirely, but those are the two closest windows to the door that they went into.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go with the window by the fire escape, and I'm gonna try to sneak in there.
As you approach the window and give it kind of a little tug, a shimmy to see if it moves, it's locked pretty tight. And you can tell that this isn't just a lock that's on it. It's also grime and dirt and rust that whoever owns this window has never used that window. And should they need to in a life or death situation, they will most likely die. So you have to make two rolls for me. The first is going to be a strength check. Well, I'm going to give you an option. Actually, I'll give you an option. You could either try to use strength to kind of work the hinges and sort of pry it off, or you can use a nature check to see if you have something to kind of eat away at the rust and the grime, to maybe fashion a way to break through that. A super duper Mr. Clean. After whichever one you decide to use, in the end, you're going to have to make a sleight of hand to see if you can pick the lock and get it open.
I think I'm gonna go with the nature check first.
Okay.
That's 9.
You, in fact, do have some solvent materials on you that you keep all the time. You have a bunch of different chemicals, being the assassin and hunter that you are, that really, if they were examined separately, would be no more than saying, I've got some ammonia, I've got some bicarbonate acid, I've got, it's just random, almost like cleaning material. But combined the right way in the right amounts, you could rip through Durasteel. It would take time, but you could open a hole almost anywhere. It's going to take you a little bit of time to work the materials and to get this grime away. So you're not going to move as fast as you want with a 9, but you do start the process of combining a couple of acids, and you watch with, you see to great effect that it's working. You're starting to loosen the hinges, work away the grime. We'll leave you outside for a hot second, since you're still going to be working on that. Yasin, what do you say? You made a call.
Well, it depends. She did pick up?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
Yasin here.
Imagine kind of scratchy. I don't know, given the distance. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't matter. But Yasin's just going to start inquiring about like Grim and Estrella, and mentioning that we saw them in the Colosseum fighting for their lives, and that it looked like, Yasin's not too sure, but it looked like there were other people we knew there too. But and then I'm also just going to kind of gloss over just slightly gloss over the fact that I attacked Cad Bane on site while that was happening.
Nice. Grim, as you hear all of this happening, you are very casually putting a hand over your metal arm right where that stone is to muffle it a bit. You're playing it off as if, you're hurt, you're a little bit wounded, and so you're kind of cradling your limb as you're walking in. You're still behind mud. Walking through the tunnels, Nim is not far behind you. And the three of you are heading towards the Sanctum of the Champions, this room that you broke into earlier where the feasting and all that was happening, this And kind of as Yasin really gets into the thick of it and kind of mentions Cad Bane a bit, you enter into that room.
Oh.
Nim, what is your passive perception?
17.
You pick up Yasin's voice, and like the first call, like "Hey, Grim," and then she like covers it really quick, and your ears are perked up to hearing him. In fact, Mud kind of coughs to cover over the sound a little bit, and you pull up closer to Grim, and the two of you hear. In a muffled way, pretty much everything that Yasin describes of their journey. And then you enter into the chamber. Now, Nim, you know from years of doing this in the arena, the champions don't just come back to an empty room. They always come back to some sort of fanfare and revelry. And in the chamber, you see Roka's major domo, his Mr. Morden, and with him are a slew of slaves, about half a dozen, scantily clad men and women, each holding different trays of food and drink. These slaves are, of course, the major domo's personal assistants, his attaches, his whatever he needs them to be at whatever time. People, you know that. And you were expecting this to happen, so you have the unique ability to do something before anybody else notices what Grim is trying to hide. What do? You get a free action, basically.
I'm gonna step in front of Grim and just to kind of cover up the whole arm covering thing a little bit, and just pretty much get loud.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, "Hey, weren't we great out there? I mean, look at this place. Look at you guys. Look great. Give yourselves a hand. You always look so good, Major Demo, Morden. I'm actually
Yes.
going to take Newbie here, and we're gonna fix her up a little bit before you get her into all the fanfare and everything. You know, kind of like give her the lowdown, if you know what I mean."
Of course, cursed monk. I would expect nothing less. Just have her back here promptly. She
Oh, yeah.
is already receiving sponsors, and we don't want this one to wait too long.
Oh, is it Anna Banana?
And he leans close, as I imagine you move closer.
Yeah, I
to
was
the-
like,
he's like,
Well, I would only tell this to you, because
of course.
we share a close relationship, I'd like to think.
Oh, well, you know, you are my favorite. Yes.
Of course.
Stop that laugh now.
She's actually being called on by Kiva Lass, the Black Sun leader.
No.
Scandalous.
Well, then I must go get her ready. I have to. Have to,
Indeed,
you know.
indeed. This could play into our plans perfectly.
Ha ha ha, I got you.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
I'm just gonna start backing up and like pushing Grim into my room and just be like, we're good. We're good, Jim. We'll be right back. I promise.
Of
Brought back.
course, Of course.
Right back. Okay.
Mud! And then as the door shuts, you just hear him calling out to Mud and the others. And you can hear almost one of the slaves has picked up a lute and is kind of playing music just barely in the background. All very hush-hush and quiet. But the two of you are safe in your room, at least for the time being. And you can talk with Yasin freely. So he catches you up on what's going on. I imagine the two of you catch him up on what's been going on. We don't have to act it out.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we'll leave you two there for a hot second as we come back to Kieran and Yasin. What are the two of you doing now? So you were downstairs. Kieran, you have a working Stone of Fire speech, and you can see that Yasin is starting to get into conversation with Grim and Nim. At this point, you hear both of their voices. Do the two of you stay downstairs? Do you move upstairs? Just kind of know those specifics.
Mm,
Where did Gagarin go?
Gagarin went upstairs. He said that he was going to close the window up there and also prep a few things that he feels would be useful to invading the Black Sun hideout.
I'll go ahead and make my way upstairs.
Yeah, it's been a while, it feels like.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the two of you do make your way upstairs. Yasin continued to be in conversation with Grim and Nim. We'll see what that conversation is in just a second. But as the two of you make your way upstairs, Keladri, you hear voices through the window. You can hear the Lieutenant Gagarin, who you know well. You've seen him before in that establishment. You've talked with him, not at length, but enough to recognize his voice. He's a bit of a loud drunk at the bar, and you can hear him going, "Oh yes, Kieran, Yosin, excellent. I just preparing a couple of things for you, just to make sure we can get in a few schematics and things that we can look over. Just if you kind of want to come here to the central little area. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dawson. I didn't realize you were in the middle of a call. Yeah, I can wait. But you do notice this light that kind of turns on that you recognize as being the soft blue of a hollow projection. And you can see that the curtains have been drawn. You see the form of Gagarin, but you see two other shadows move in from the stairwell that you can make out their shapes to being Kieran and Yasin through the light. At this point, the locks have all been successfully cleaned by your acidic solution. They are brand spanking new. Now you just have to pick the lock to see if you can crack into the window. However, now you will also need to make a stealth check to see if you can get in unnoticed. So let's try and pick the lock.
Okay, so
Sleight of hand. Thanks for the licks, buddy.
okay.
Sleight of hand. Yep.
18.
18. Your fingers moved deftly over this sort of half mechanical, half digital lock. There's a couple of codes that you run through that you know of Gagarin. Having talked with him, you know his birth date, you know the birth date of the last 3 women that he dated, and you kind of run through those really quick, and one of them kind of unlocks the first portion of it. And after that, you stick 2 metal pins into that opening and kind of work it just a bit. And you hear this, and you know that the window is unlocked. You can feel the latch give from the other side. Now you just have to succeed on a stealth check if you want to go inside that way. Choice is still yours.
Well, I think, can I tell that they're on, so I can tell that they're on the others, like in that room that I'm trying to get into?
Yes.
Okay. So I think I'm going to, can I hear them through the window?
You can hear them a little bit. You can hear Gagarin because he's loud and he's a little bit drunk. But Kieran hasn't said anything yet, and you can tell that Yasin is talking, but you don't know what he's saying. He just kind of sounds like, and that's kind of all you get from him.
Well, if they have the drapes drawn, can I try just to crack the window open without them noticing so I can hear what they're talking about?
Yes, you can. You can do that without a stealth check. With the windows drawn, nobody can tell as you kind of lift the window up just a crack. And you immediately get down onto your knees and kind of put your ear up to the window and listen intently to the following conversations. Yasin, Grim, and Nim, after having caught each other up on the happenings of your two sides, what do you want to talk about now?
So, when you gonna get us out? Or more like, where are you in the vicinity of the arena?
Well, and then Yasin's going to explain that
You can just talk to me.
What?
I said you can just talk to me.
Oh yeah, true. I'm I'm going to explain. Like we're trying to infiltrate the Coliseum by getting Roka's son back, who I don't know if you've heard has been kidnapped by some people called the Black Suns, and we're with like a really good buddy of theirs right now. he actually tried to kill me, and then we became really good friends. Go figure.
That happens.
I just see like Nim and Grim like rolling their eyes and looking at each other like, again? Like, what the hell?
Okay.
But yeah, we're at his place right now, and we're gearing up to go get Roka's kid back so that we can get into the Coliseum without having to break the front door down.
Nim, roll history with advantage.
Ooh, good advantage. Yeah. Okay, 14.
Okay. During various parties, you've learned one. You know Roka's son is missing. Everybody in the arena knows that. But what you know more than others, and you remember it's a conversation that you had one night with Anthrax, a bit of pillow talk, if you will, and he had mentioned how Kiva Las, the Black Sun leader, was making it very public that he had captured Roka's son. But the part that only someone on the inside would know, because Anthrax,
It's on the inside.
he's on the inside, he deals in secrets. He knows the end game. Morden is the reason why Roka's son was captured. Because Morden is desperately trying to seize control of Roka's assets and is willing to form an alliance with the Black Suns to do it. And as long as they have his son, he won't retaliate. Roka cares deeply for his child.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do I know who the Black Suns are or why we need them or whatever?
No, but Nim does.
Nim and Yas.
I'm going to go, oh. I'm going to run and like find some like, like a wipe or something to clean her off with, right? And I start like rubbing down her face and her arms and stuff like that, and start cleaning her up and be like, okay. So the guy you're looking for, the guy who stole Roka's kid, he's coming here. He wants to talk to you. You're going to be able to talk to him. Squeaky high voice whiner guy out there, Morden? Yeah, him?
Yeah.
And like, I could get more information from that. He really likes me. Anyway. If you act the part and, stop talking to people in your arm, I think it'd be all right.
You're saying a lot of stuff and I don't understand.
Okay, she's gonna like grab Grim's face. You are going to be sold.
Yasin goes
to a patron. He's going to buy your company because you're the new champion. This guy is the guy they're looking for. And she points at the stone in their arm.
So what information am I trying to get out of him? I don't know anything.
We need Roka's kid. So you need to morph that conversation into getting info about that kid.
Because when someone buys me, that's always my first to go. Where? You know any children?
Yeah. You wanna talk about babies?
Honestly, just get the man to talk about himself. He's a really big
Thomas Jefferson thing.
He likes to talk. Those people like to talk about themselves. He'll probably brag about it. Morden does. Just get him up. All right. Let me look. Like she runs around Grim a couple times just to make sure she's like presentable.
I'm gonna look at Nim and be like, so what's supposed to happen? Why is he buying me?
probably lucky. Usually the first time doesn't go like what you're thinking. Usually they just want to get to know you and want to see if they want to buy more of your time, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like an escort kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
that vibe real quick.
And
You'll
Like,
you-
oh.
eventually, or not, because they're coming to get us. But you know,
We got
a
this.
soft knock on the door at this point.
The patrons are waiting to spend time with their champions. Do hurry.
I'm going to open the door like right in his face, like be there in his face.
Oh,
Hi. We out.
of course. Please take your time. Not too much.
And he just leaves the two of you with the open door. Yasin, Grim, this is your last chance to talk before you need to sign out. Is there any other important info that you want to convey?
If you happen to get in here before we talk again, find Estrella. She's in the rookie arena, newbies, whatever you want to call it, and she's by herself. With well, no, what's his name? Strength.
Strength and
Strength.
stuff.
Oh, Yasin's gonna like shake his head. Renth is here? The first,
And Seth.
And
And
Seth. Yep, and Seth.
and Seth. Oh, Yasin's just like, oh my god.
Nim's gonna turn around real quick in the doorway and come up to him, kind of like huddling around the stone so it's
Yep.
less noisy, sort of thing. Just be like, I could try to get something to Estrella, like a salve or something. She didn't look very good, but you need to get out there and you need to shut up.
I'll call you back later.
Click.
Click.
Okay, you bought a cat. Okay, bye.
So happy you were buying cats when we were trying not to die.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Bye.
Interference.
Good. And I literally like push you out the door because I know if we take any longer, they're gonna come in here for you.
As you push Grim out, and Grim kind of stumbles, but then immediately like rights herself, you know, being the proud woman that she is. She's like, shit. And you just like chest out, you know, chin up, and you just walk out of this room, and immediately you see Morden's eyes lock on you. And again, Morden is like an amphibious-looking creature. He's kind of frog-like. He's
No!
he's not pleasant.
Why is it
He's you know, he's got larger eyes. You kind of see his tongue move from one eye to the other and back into his mouth, as he kind of you know licks his eyeballs because he needs a little lubrication there. I'm looking for a better word, but we'll just go with that. And he just kind of grins and he's like,
Ah, Grim, the blood demon, our newest and fifth champion. Welcome. I'm so happy to see new blood here. Wonderful. Everyone, I would like to introduce His Most Holiness, Kiva Lass, the Black Sun leader, and the only male to ever rule the Night Sisters.
and from behind Morden, this gate raises, and you see this robed figure walk out of Kiva Lass. Now he's changed since you last saw him, Nim, as far as his clothing and everything. This cloak that he wears is cut in several places to kind of allow his arms free movement, his legs. So he's not like a monk. He is more like a Sith warrior, something where underneath these robes you can see armor, this plating that moves across his chest, these gauntlets, everything a pure black with etchings of red throughout it. The armor looks old. From your estimation, Nim, having been here for 10 years, it's not modern armor. It's nothing that you've seen in the arenas. It's something more akin to what you've seen in Roka's private treasury. There was one party that he held in his collections chamber because he wanted to show off both his champions and his collections. And you've seen armor that looked like this, old armor from a time long ago. And Kiva wears it proudly, strongly. His blue skin etched with black tattoos moving down his two leku, these two tentacles that come from the top of his head down his shoulders. He stands strong and he makes eye contact with you, Grim. And he smiles. And it's charming and deadly. And honestly reminds you of Alexander when you first met him. You sense the darkness coming from Kiva, Lass. You can feel his power. And you know that there is more to him than just a strong body. You sense almost magic coming from him, or as this world calls it, the Force. And you feel it emanate from him in waves of dark power. And you swear that for a moment his eyes turn red, just around the outside, as he looks at you, and then return to their normal dark brown. We cut back to Gagarin's. Yes.
Can I do it with my eyes as well? Just a real quick flash.
Yes, you can. You actually, using thaumaturgy, you can easily match his eyes, and his grin turns from being smug and arrogant to genuine. You've taken him off guard, and he likes it.
Yeah.
Oh, not too much.
Not too much, okay? I don't want. Cutting back to Gagarin's bachelor pad. The three of you are upstairs, and as you end the conversation, Yasin, you can now clearly see what Kieran and Gagarin have been sort of looking at, which is this holographic schematic of the Black Sun hideout. Or hideout's a strong word. It's more of a stronghold. They're not hiding from anybody. This isn't a secret facility. Everybody knows the Black Suns are housed there. But it is a stronghold. And as you look at it, you can see winding corridors. Gagarin points out different encampments where guards are posted. He points to different areas of the roof where there are automatic turrets and laser batteries. He talks about how certain rooms are guarded behind force fields, and that in total there are easily 25 to 30 personnel at any one time, rotating every 3 hours. During those rotations, it can go down to as little as 15 in the changing of the guard. So there's never more than 30, and there's never less than 15. Keladri, you hear all of this. You've heard every part of the conversation that Yasin had. You've heard every part of this breaking down of the Black Sun stronghold. And now Gagarin looks at his two comrades in arms and goes, I just want to make it clear that, again, I break you into this place, I help you, and you're going to get me home. Like, or go back to Faerun. right? I see your nods. Okay, that I appreciate.
That's the plan.
All right, just look. Have you two ever done a thing like this before? Have you ever broken into a stronghold?
Maybe I've broken out is a better term.
Yeah, we usually get brought in.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No doubt we'll be breaking out of this one soon enough. I tell you, getting in's the easy part. Getting to the child, not as tough as you might think. Getting out after we triggered every alarm, that will be a thing of beauty. Look, this might help, at least for the onset. And you can see that in the back, towards where the stairwell ends, furthest away from the window, there is like an armoire that he has up there. He opens it up and he goes, I got 2 spare uniforms that I think the 2 of you could fit into. You're slightly smaller than me, but I don't think anyone's going to notice too much. It's not like the Black Suns are real big on formality and keeping it crisp and clean. So he brings one down and hands it to you, Kieran. That should do. And just cinch it around the ankles, you'll be fine. And then he brings one over to you, Yasin, and he's like, yeah, in your case, you may just want to hike up the pants a little bit. You're just a wee bit shorter than I am. Just don't let it drag on the ground. You'll be fine. So why don't you two go change into that, and then we can talk about the plan of attack, huh?
Chris, real quick, in that moment, I kind of like get a little bit of a pain in my hand, and I kind of check the pulsing energy from the Kyber crystal that's in my arm that I've been like processing, and almost like, absorb the latest wave of that like information that I'm gathering.
This would be time for make a wisdom saving throw.
Yay! Wisdom saving throw that's a 19.
Nice. In this moment, as you grab the clothes and you kind of feel your arm pulse, the entire room, for a split second, and Keladri, you notice this too, glows green. And it's coming from your crystal. And as it glows green, you develop a next layer of force sensitivity with it. Not only can you start to see the channels in the force and how things connect, but now you can see clear threads. They don't look like wisps anymore of smoke that pass through your fingers. As you reach for one of these threads, you can feel it between your fingers. And as you tug on it, a cup on top of the armoire shifts and then falls to the ground. Hey, what the frackin' nut was that? Did you...
Son of a nutcracker!
I'm gonna actually pretend like what? And like kind of get like jolted out of that experience, not revealing that it kind of came from me.
Hey, I guess I must have been a trimmer or something. Maybe that was on the edge. I'm sorry, I'm just a little jumpy with Keladri out there. I'm just really shit. Fine, shit. Okay, just go change, please. We can't stay here. I'm freaking out, man. I'm just freaking out.
Using this like newfound threading, could I like shimmy my cat down my back to like kind of like get her out of my so that it looks like it was just the cat or something.
Sure. Yeah, easy enough. And oh, damn! You got one of them loaf cats. Vermin! I can't. Oh, that explains it. Oh, just keep it away from my stuff, please. Just go.
Kind of like, come here, buddy. Come here.
Boy, you nuts! I swear. Who walks around with a loaf cat? And he just kind of mutters as he walks over to another armoire Which, as he opens it up, you can see that there are some weaponry and things in there, some guns and different things like that he has. He's decently stocked. He's got a few pieces. As of this moment, Kieran, you can sense that the crystal probably has 1 or 2 more mutations to go through before you fully understand it and what it does and how to unlock it. You find that as your concentration wanes, the threads fade. And as you concentrate harder, they reappear. Anytime that you wish to use the Force in this fashion, it will be a wisdom saving throw. Anything above a 15 will allow you to manipulate small objects in the Force. Anything below a 15 will take from your life as the crystal draws its essence from you rather than you connecting to it. And the more that it draws from you, the stronger the dark side will be as it whispers to you. Are you two going to go change?
Yes.
Well, yeah. And then I have a question. Does Kieran's like little cat diversion, does it work on Yasin?
Oh, no. Because you were there when Doc Undar gave him the Kyber crystal and all that kind of stuff. So you know that Kieran has like unlocked something, and if you want to probe him about it, you guys are in a private enough space that you could talk if you want.
Okay, I'm going to lean in and be like, dude, what was that?
I don't know, man. I think that these Kyber stones that Ithorian gave me are a little bit more potent than we anticipated originally.
Need your best potions.
Do I like? I'll kind of like explain the threads, and like I saw these threads of almost like, you know, the cracks in the sky, but for almost the fabric of time and like energy, kind of like we saw in Hyrule, but it's different here. It's very strange. I almost feel like if I learn enough, I could manipulate more than just a cup moving.
So it's not magical based, would you say?
Believe it or not, it feels like something more, like life. I don't know that it's going to sap from my life, right? Kieran doesn't know that.
No.
He just knows that like it feels like connected to like life force energy, kind of like my soul stone. And Yasin knows about my soul stone, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, can Keldry hear us from this position?
I was gonna, when you guys are done, I'll let you know. You guys done?
Yeah, I think Yasin's done with his momentary interview.
As the two of you get dressed, the quietest spot that you kind of moved to was closer to the window, where Keldry hears everything that you've been saying about this Kyber crystal. She hears you say the word Kyber crystal. Now, Keldry, having grown up in Nar Shaddaa, you know that one of the most valuable stones anyone could possess is a Kyber crystal, something that actually transmits massive amounts of energy and has a connection to what the locals call the Force. You don't fully understand the Force. It's not something that is truly innate in you, but it reminds you of stories that your grandmother used to tell you of magic in the Fey Wilds. It's a very distant memory, but you understand what Kieran has and the connection that he's starting to form with it. What do you want to do? Do you stay in this position and continue to wait and watch? Or do you want to do something else?
I think I might want to do something else. Is it possible to cast darkness in the room? Because I know when I was reading the spell, it said I could attach it to a particular, like either an object, but could I attach it to a person?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I want to cast darkness on Kieran.
Interesting. What are you trying to achieve as you cast it on him?
And then I want to try to enter the room and see if I can get close to Kieran.
Okay. Yeah, let's let's do this. How do you cast darkness? What is your method of doing it?
I guess that's something. How do you cast a spell? Is it just something
Just
that I
describe how you do it?
Yeah, just how do you want it? Is it an incantation? Some words you say? Is it a little movement of your fingers? Do you just sort of stare at him intently? Like, how do you want to cast this spell?
It'll be an incantation. I'll whisper kind of under my breath and cast the spell.
Nice. As you whisper these words, it's almost as if a shadow comes from your mouth and sort of wisps and moves and passes underneath the window. And Kieran, being one of the closest to it, it attaches to him and starts to swirl and move around until the room is covered in shadow emanating from Kieran's body. Kieran and Yasin, the two of you instantly notice that the room has grown dark. And it's not a darkness that you can see through. Like, it's no amount of dark vision is going to allow you to see through this. This is a magical darkness. And Kieran, it's touched you. You've been touched by magic before, numerous times in your life. You recognize this as being Faerunian magic. Your time in Faerun and the magic you felt there, it's almost like a taste or an essence that you're starting to differentiate between Hyrule and Nar Shaddaa, and you know there's something Faerunian happening, some kind of a spell that has been cast. Keladri, you can make a stealth roll with advantage to see if you can get close enough to Kieran before he notices what happens.
Stealth roll.
Okay.
Start helicoptering.
What was your roll?
8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Kieran, what is your passive perception?
Passive perception. It is 14.
Okay, it's tight, but
Oh, come on.
Keladri, you open the window following this darkness and step into the space. And as you get close to Kieran, he turns and looks directly in your direction. He can't see you because the darkness is that thick. But he But Kieran, you know someone has stepped into the room. You know when you can feel another body around you. And you feel Yasin on one side and somebody else behind you. And you turn and you look in that direction. Kieran, what do you do? Having a higher number, you get to move on this. What do you do?
Having heard Gagarin speak the name of Keladri, I kind of whisper it under my breath, and I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers with almost the intention of, this is the first time I've done this, almost channeling the Night Mother's like connection to me into another person through Dissonant Whispers, like where I'm trying to connect the person to the Night Mother in a way in order to like intimidate and like almost constrict mentally.
Interesting. Okay. Because you've called on the Night Mother, Kieran, you need to make a wisdom saving throw. Because you're using dissonant whispers on Keladri, you need to make a wisdom saving throw. All right. What is Kieran's spell save DC, by the way, for this?
Spell save DC for the
Yeah.
Dissonant Whispers.
Yeah, for dissonant whispers.
Notes. It is 13.
Okay. Keladri, did you roll higher than a 13?
Nope.
Okay. Kieran, what was your wisdom saving throw?
My wisdom saving throw was a 7.
Okay. What was your exact number, Keladri?
2.
A 2. Ooh, mighty 2.
Well, you're
At least it wasn't a 1.
saving throw, so I have 0. So it's a natural 2.
It's a 2. It's a 2, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Both of you are really low. Anything under a 10, this gets fun. So, here we go. As you tap into this spirit plane, which you have associated with the Night Mother and her presence, and reach out using dissonant whispers to try and intimidate Keladri, the spell touches her mind and almost immediately rebounds back to you. And in an instant, the two of you are brought into the same planal space. Kieran, you've been here before. This is the spirit plane, an area that you have walked recently. You've walked it in Hyrule numerous times to step into the past, to battle alongside Link, but also there was a time when you conversed with the Night Mother. And as Estrella tried to break you out of that trance, she came in with you and saw the Night Mother. You're back in that plane, in this realm of colors and light, like space inside a nebula, as if you are in the clouds in the Tavern of Realms. And you're on the path that you were on before, this narrow walkway. And in front of you is Keladri. And you see her clearly for the first time, not blocked by shadow or smoke or neons. But you see a tiefling, ashened purple skin, armor and cloak, a bow slung on her back, and a look of nervous defiance on her face. Because Keladri, you've been in this realm too, once as a child. It was something your grandmother had done with you, a spell she was trying to teach you, a way to tap into the potential of other realities, she said. It was the last time you ever saw her, the last time you ever saw the Fey Wilds of Faerun, the last time you were home. In this plane, the two of you feel a third presence. Dawson, or rather Kieran, you would recognize this as the Night Mother. Different from the last time you saw her, older, not as translucent and beautiful and luminous, but almost as an older tiefling. Strong, powerful, but very real, very tangible. Caladri, you immediately recognize this woman as your grandmother. The horns swoop back in the same fashion. The family ridges that go across easily connect the two of you. Her stern face and her old, wizened, and crackled voice. You hear them almost every night when you go to sleep. Well, Galadri, nice to see you again, child. Have you finally brought me a worthy sacrifice?
Oh shit.
Made a horrible
I didn't even know. I was just like, intimidation. Holy shit, I'm a sacrifice now.
What have I done?
No, undo.
I've tried for years to get you to hear my voice, but every time you've shut me out. Child, we do not belong in this realm. But there are things here we can use. Stop running from your purpose. How do you respond, Caladri? How do you respond, Kieran? you're the meat back in the room.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna.
I'm just like, okay. I'm like backing up a little bit, like this is a very different scenario than I anticipated. I think I just opened Pandora's box. This is all going into his mind. But I'm like, I'm going to like his eye glowing and everything. I'm going to be trying to sever the connection immediately. Like all of my like mental energy is like, get us the hell out of here.
Make a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage.
Also,
Caladri, how do you respond to your grandmother?
I'm gonna look at her and say, grandmother, why are you looking for me? Why won't you leave me here alone?
Leave me be.
You forget so much, daughter. It's simple. The spell I was trying to teach you opened the portal for us to be here, but we did not arrive in the same place or even the same time. You've been here much longer than I, child. It has taken all of my strength and power and the arcana to rise to a position of leadership among the Night Sisters. They herald me as their Night Mother. It's interesting. Did not expect such a thing, but here we are. You know we were looking for power. You craved it as a child. Did it scare you? I can't let you go. You're part of the reason I need to get home. It took two to enter here, and it'll take two to leave.
Now, can I ask, what do I remember about my grandmother specifically?
Roll history. Let's find out.
Also, I got a 14 on that wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll find out what happens in a second.
I'm 17.
Lower your expectations.
17. As your grandmother starts speaking to you, the spell becomes clearer in your mind, as does the words that you heard her speak to you before initiating it. You can remember her saying in a much younger voice, "Child, we are about to open a portal to another reality, and in doing so, finally gain the power
to bring your parents back. It was a shame to lose them. I've tried to raise you as best I can. But we can bring them back if we just dig a little deeper into the eddies of magic. You'll do this with me, won't you? And you remember a young you, maybe 6 years old, just nodding at your grandmother, someone who you venerated, someone who you have the utmost respect. She raised you. You don't remember who your parents are. You remember nothing about them. But you want to make her proud. And you nod. Good child. And she starts to draw this incantation around you. A circle of alchemy forms below you, and you can feel parts of your body starting to fade away. And with the pain of this transmutation, you fight with this instinctual energy inside of you against your grandmother. And you can hear her screaming, "Child, don't!" And in that moment, a flash and a rip and a tear. And you remember waking up in Narshada, 6 years old. And there's more than just you. There are other children displaced, moved from their homes. Whatever your grandmother said, you'll never get over the feeling of that spell, as you know that your life essence was being ripped from you, as if the only way she could control things was with your blood. And you've been running from her whispers ever since. All of this flashes through your mind as you look at your old grandmother. Child, it is time to come home. Stop running. Bring this one to me, and all will be forgiven.
All right, well, I'm gonna step between Kieran and my grandmother and say, "Grandmother, you left me here, and you with no memories, no idea of where I am. Why should I come home to you?"
You broke the spell, child. All you had to do was trust me, but I've had to claw my way up from nothing. None of that matters now. I've found what I was looking for. We can go home together. I can bring your parents back. We can have what we wanted all those years ago, child. Don't worry. Trust in me. Come home. At this moment,
Oh,
Kieran, with your 14 roll,
you guys with me and Heather Justin.
you feel your soul being ripped from your body.
No.
Again, in this
Again.
realm, Keladri can see it. And once more, she can see that while she was talking to her grandmother was making sigils with her hand. Naruto style. She's sitting there doing some jutsus. But as she's doing that, she's directing the energy at you, Kieran, and siphoning. And Keladri, you can see Kieran's spirit curve around you and come into the palm of your grandmother. And you know that if you don't do something, he will die.
I can't collect my bounty on you if you die, so.
In the dark room, like, guys.
Okay. All right. Can I use weapons in the spiritual?
You can do whatever you want. Weapons, spells. You are free to do whatever.
I'm gonna.
Look, your thing's dark.
Oh, I know.
See, look at all of your. I'm very. Oh, look,
It's like
it's like I'm reading the ground and everything is wrong. Yeah, I didn't know that was the connection.
Oh my bow then, and shoot directly at my grandmother.
Yeah, you can do that. As you shoot at her.
Not a killing strike though, just like on the shoulder.
Sure. As you shoot at her, you watch her other hand, her free hand, move to intercept the arrow. And she's just a little bit too slow. And before she can grab it, it sticks into the shoulder where she was drawing the essence from Kieran. And she just, You would strike your own blood? Why?
Yeah, I'll look at my grandmother. So you tried to take my life force. Doesn't feel right to me.
So you protect another? This meaningless drivel of rock and flesh?
She yanks the arrow from her and just and throws it to the side.
Is this the choice you make, child?
Yes, grandmother, he's mine to collect.
I'm just a sacrifice. I'm a sacrifice. I'm a paycheck.
It could just be.
Well, now you know your worth.
This isn't over, child. I was willing to use another, but now I will come at you with the full force of my power and those who stand at my side, and I will not rest until your body tears open a hole back to Faerun.
I'm gonna take the damage. Wisdom saving throw our asses out of here. I'm gonna take whatever we gotta get to go.
My shoulder, get us out of here.
In that moment, Kieran, you reach for Keladri's hand, grab it, and just pull yourselves out of this zone. And you can see just the grandmother seething as you move away from her presence. You take no damage from this move. It'll be one of instinct. But as you settle back into Gregarin's bachelor pad, the darkness has dissipated. Yasin, for you, only seconds have passed. It got dark and then it just faded as if a cloud passed over the sun, kind of a thing. But Gregarin turns and sees Kieran holding hands with Keladri. And you can see that as well as the move he used to pull them out of the spirit zone. And you just hear Gregarin go, "Oh, shite." That is where we will end with that group as we move over to the patrons and the champions in the arena. I'm going to shift some lights around and try and talk at the same time and see how well I do. Outside in this area, the slaves have all kind of moved their positions to putting the food down on various tables and everything, and have moved back to their kind of position with the major domo, who is holding himself by the main door, kind of
greeting as other people step in. Patrons that you recognize, Nim, you see one who favors Anthrax quite a lot come in, and immediately he moves to her side, and the two of them begin to talk and whisper to each other, and you can hear his giggles. He's a giggler.
Giggler.
You see Kiva Las kind of take a few steps closer to Grim. And then for you, you see Lord Centaurus kind of step inside, and he's like, Nimriani, as I saw your fight today, impressive as always. I knew I could bet on you. I always bet on you.
I always told you you could bet on me. I'll always give you those monies. You know that, right?
Oh yeah,
You know
come,
You know it.
sit with me. Let us talk of other things. Of stews and chips and sealing wax and cabbages and canes. Do you follow him and move to the side with him?
I do, but I make sure to know where Grim is at all times. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yep.
Sorry.
And you do. You easily take a seat at one of the many tables that are around that are laid out for the patrons to enjoy. And there is one slave who kind of walks up to the two of you, and she is younger. Definitely not from Narshada. You've seen her a couple of times, but have never really kind of met her in person up close. She's a harpy. You recognize her species from Faerun. Her feathers covering her body of turquoise and blues and shocks of purple at the tips of her feathers. Dressed very simply in very scantily clad, kind of slave Leia-esque wear, if you will. Morden likes to keep his slaves showing, but for her, all that shows is feathers and her figure. And she kind of bows down, and you hear her kind of, your favorites, Lord Centaurus, here for you. These rare wines and cheeses from the edges of Jakku for you. Good, Quark, thank you. I've been meaning to talk to Morden about purchasing you for the Casino Royale. I think the patrons there would love to meet someone as exotic as you. And she's very nervous and just sort of steps away, and she grabs another tray and moves over to you, Grim, as Kivalas steps close enough now that the two of you are within a few feet of each other, easily can have a conversation. And on her tray, she has a couple of glasses of colored liquids and some breads and meats and cheeses, just a charcuterie board, if you will, of nibbles. And so she kind of holds that out, and she goes, for you, newest champion, Kivalas. And
So quick question to you real quick.
Hmm.
I recognize the name Quark. I
Yes,
forget why I was supposed to remember it.
sure. So what you would remember hearing her name as Centaurus is very loud and kind of says it in a way that the whole room can hear him say Quark. You remember your conversation with Estrella in the... at this moment, I've realized I've forgotten Estrella and the whole story. I'm so sorry, Emily. But just flat out, let me know.
Is laying on a bunk somewhere, just going, "Oh my god, I tried to fight the gun."
She's reevaluating her life decisions.
Evaluating life. Emily, are you good for playing 30 minutes past 9? And I can story, or we can just pick it up with you next session. I just want to know.
Let's pick it up with me next session. I have to be at work at like 5 a.m. So
Yep, no worries. We will give you your time.
I'm so sorry.
You know Quirk from talking with Estrella because her deity
Lunis, told you to look for a girl named Quirk who was experimenting and tinkering with a way to travel between realms. She is a mechanic, an artificer, all things in that nature, and she's trying to open portals. She wants to get back home. So Lunas told you, go find her. She's a good way home, kind of thing.
Okay.
So as she approaches you with all of this food and drink, what do? Do you take something?
I'm gonna take a drink, I guess.
Or
And
red, green, or blue?
oh fuck. Red?
Cool. You take the red one. All right. We'll see what happens after you drink it. I just have colors.
Just said I took it, I didn't say I drank it.
I know.
And I guess I'll just kind of be like, I hear you have interesting hobbies, but really quiet, so not like a bunch of people here.
Well, she kind of looks at you, but she eyes you in a way that isn't like a slave. She eyes you like she's trying to figure out who you are and why you would say that. She looks at your horns, she looks at your tattoos, and she goes, Tavern?
I'm just gonna nod yes.
And her feathers kind of floof up a bit. And Kevin, he looks at you and goes, oh, a bold choice taking the red one. And he also grabs a red drink as well, and takes a couple of the little sliced meats and pops that into his mouth. And he goes, you can go now, thank you, please, leave. And she bows and moves off to the side, but she looks in your way one more time, and you see her wink, as if, yeah, me too.
I gotcha.
So, Grim, your display in the arena was quite intoxicating, I must say. Yes, you displayed so much power and grace. The ability to summon that creature. Did you enslave him in order to bring him to you? Is it a pact you have made with the devil? Please, I must know.
I'm gonna just be like, oh yeah, I caught him a while ago.
He takes a gulp, like he just gulps down the whole drink, and you see him kind of like and sort of shake it off, and then as he coughs, almost a small bit of fire kind of comes out of his mouth, just a little poof of smoke, and he goes, I figured as much. You know how this works. Being a patron, what is expected of you?
Quite new to it, actually.
I would be happy to educate you, I promise, as you might enjoy it. Look, this is our first meeting. Well, some of the patrons deal in the more fleshly matters. I can assure you that is not what I care about. And the flesh is merely a vessel for acquiring power. I sense in you a kindred spirit for power, yes?
I have been drawn to it a few times.
He takes a step closer and whispers, I could smell the blood on you. It is pleasurable. Now, I'm sure you're curious what it is that I want, and what's in it for me, yes?
Yeah.
It is simple.
I will place bets on you, and you will win fights, and you will gain me money. That is what everyone expects of the patron-champion relationship. And I'm sure you will make me rich. But this is not what I'm looking for. That is just so the others stay off our backs. What I want is your cooperation in taking down Roka the Hutt. You must know by now that I have his child, and perhaps you have heard rumors and wanderings that I seek his throne, the power that he wields. You've heard this, yes?
Yes.
Of course you have, because you are smart and you know things. Here's what you do not know. Here's what no one knows. When you summoned that demon, it reminded me of old tales of the Sith, ancient warriors of the dark side who could bring creatures to bear using their magics and alchemy and connection to the Force. The creature you control is remarkably similar to a beast of old. It makes me believe that perhaps you and I share a common goal. You see, Roka is a collector. He collects many valuable treasures, among which are ancient tablets talking of the first Night Mother, a woman of immeasurable power. He is said to possess the bones of this individual. Now, the Night Sisters and their leader, they follow me because they believe that I am the incarnation of a deity known by many names: Tonis, Fankao, Sonanka. They believe I share some connection to him. Perhaps I do. I am strong in the Force. So they follow me to Roka's chamber. Tell me, does this intrigue you? Does it make you excited?
Sorry. Sorry. I couldn't stop but laugh.
You're welcome.
I'm just gonna look at him and be like, it's very interesting to hear about what goes on around here. And think of something to say.
While she's thinking, could we get just for Leah's awareness, could she get a recap on like who Thonis is real quick?
Oh,
So everything that this group has been doing has been for a man named Thonis, a creature who exists between time and space in a realm known as the Tavern of Realms. It exists between different realities. He summoned these warriors and others to his side to search the realms for treasures of his that he had placed. In each of these is a piece of his essence that he seeks. When they're all collected, he will have the power to push the realms apart, to save them from an incursion that is imminent. Now, the group doesn't fully trust him, and they have held one piece for themselves while giving him another. And now they find themselves in Nar Shaddaa, hearing more about his name and the Night Mother, another character that they have encountered in various incarnations who seems connected to Thonis. Before there was light, there was the darkness. And in that darkness, Thonis and his kind existed. And as the light came into being, they died. But not before his mother and other family members created a protective barrier, which is where the tavern sits. It is made of their bodies, and it keeps him safe from the light. That's all the party knows so far. So,
I guess I will try to. Oh, fuck. I guess I'll just go with this guy, and kind of lean in and like touch his arm, kind of persuasion me,
yep.
and be like, "Yes, please tell me more about it," or something. Like, "Yes, I'm very interested."
Good. I had hoped you would be. As you touch his arm, you notice two things. One, he's strong. You can feel he's a strong, sturdy figure.
Sturdy boy.
But two, you feel his connection to magic, to the dark side of the force, as he calls it. You sense in him what you've sensed in Alexander, in your father, in those who have practiced the darker arts of the Arcana in your homeland of Faerun. It's strong in him, almost stronger than yours. And it's intriguing. And he looks at you and he goes, I knew it. The force runs strong in you as well. And we cut to Estrella in these final moments. As she lays down in bed, fists to her forehead, telling herself over and over, I challenge the big-ass gun. I challenge the big gun. Estrella, what's going through your mind aside from that? You have lost friends. You have lost your deity. What do you do?
Oh Lord. I think losing my deity is kind of what I'm focused on right now. Like, oh shit, that's usually my backup plan to get out of these things. Gosh. Oh, and I'm thinking about losing my friends, and I'm angry, and I'm upset. I'm thinking back to that conversation with Grimm and trying to what was the person's name we were supposed to be finding?
Pork.
And I'm trying to come up with a plan because now I'm fucking angry and I want to get out of here.
And I'm alone. I got the cat and the old elf. What with that?
At this moment, Estrella, you are not overcome, but certainly aware of the pain in your dying arm.
Oh, damn it, Chris. Yeah.
And it reaches up into your shoulder, and you feel it get closer to your heart.
No.
You know that your time is short unless you find some way to get the ingredients that you need to save your life. As you are reminiscing and diving into these woe is me moments, like you're having a shitty night, it's a pity you're not having a good time. The door to your place opens, and the battle master who's tried to train all of you comes in and goes, Estrella, Seth, strength, come with me. You've shown great resolve. You've earned a little taste of something. And as you all follow him, he takes you to the Chamber of the Champions and to the feast they're having. And that is where we will end tonight's session.